is time to lawyer up. We are talking Better Call Saul. I'm Dex. This is Shannon.
Hello.
Hello. And
Hello
we are
again.
joined once again. I'm so glad that our friend Matt O'Neill joined us again for another week.
I'm
because
grateful.
we didn't scare him off.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back.
Thank you.
Yes. Whitener Law, that's where you can find Matt O'Neill and his amazing team down there. And he's here he's the real deal, real attorney. And we're ready to talk about last night's episode.
Yes.
So let's roll this real quick, and then we got a question for you.
I gave them a warning call. A warning? Yeah, I was worried my guy Varga was going after their money, and he was. He was going to rip them off. I deduced it from a conversation that we had. It was lawyer to client, so there was, confidentiality issues. But I called the Kettlemans anonymously to warn them.
So in that clip, just to set it up, Nacho basically is arrested, and he tells Jimmy he's going to kill him, if he doesn't get him off the hook. And so he shows up at the crime scene, Jimmy does, and he's talking to Kim, his friend there. And we want to know, is he breaking any confidentiality laws in that scene there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually a good scene because he's, in my mind, doing the right thing. When you think of attorney-lawyer-client confidentiality, you think of, a secret that can't be told. But there is exceptions to the rule. And the rule is don't tell, but if somebody's in danger of great bodily harm and committing a future crime, then the attorney's allowed to disclose certain things, or may. It's kind of an ethical decision for the individual to make.
Are lawyers in cahoots with each other? Like, say your best friend's a lawyer and he's fighting against you. Do you guys ever talk, or is that illegal?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have attorneys on the other side. You know them, you deal with them, especially in a community like Albuquerque, which is a very small community. And you have to deal with each other in oppositional positions sometimes. And I've had that with good friends. But you keep it professional, and you do what you're supposed to in the client and for the client. And, I think everyone's got to walk that line.
Yeah. Last night's episode is my favorite episode so far.
I laughed out loud,
It was
by
a
the
good
way.
episode.
Yeah, great episode, and I think we agree our favorite clips of last night's episode was towards the end when he discovers them in a tent.
Yeah, the family, and he unzips it in the dramatic peak climactic moment, right?
Yeah. Oh man,
That's a good scene.
Yeah, but how realistic is it that a lawyer actually shows up to a crime scene?
Actually, there's two contexts in which I can think of a lawyer showing up at the scene of an incident or a crime. And the district attorney is often called out. In fact, we recently had an incident in Albuquerque where they weren't allowed into the crime scene. That was weird. But the DA often comes out to direct investigations and preserve evidence and things like that. And sometimes in trucking cases, that happens as well. You get private individuals who are in trucking accidents who call out an attorney to the scene. A trucking company usually hires them.
I think it's safe to say that Saul, or Jimmy, is a hero. He's a real life hero. He's out saving lives. What about you? I mean, he's not just a lawyer, he's saving lives.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with the skaters. I mean, he did save their lives, which kind of inspired Jimmy.
And he cracked the scene of them kidnapping themselves.
Right.
Are you that kind of lawyer?
I think I advocate for my clients. I do my best. I work hard for them. Jimmy's done some admirable things, although he's walking that ethical line. We all know he's kind of sketchy and kind of wants to do the right thing. He's got a moral bone in his body, but not as many as some.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, I was just thinking, just the schooling that you guys have to go through. The time that you put in to become an attorney is insane. The things you guys have to know, I could never do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of years of school and a
Yeah.
lot of education and a lot of practicing to get good at it.
No kidding.
So you don't, even when you get out of school, you're not always ready to go, and cutting your teeth as a public defender like Jimmy does in the show is a good way to get started.
Okay.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about that. Where do you think Jimmy is at as far as, being a public defender? Because we talked about it last week a little bit. He's not making very much money. He's got to take these cases that he doesn't want to take. Does every attorney start out that way as a public defender? Is that how you
No,
work
I mean,
your
some
way
people
up?
start out, but often people start out not as public defenders, but as district attorneys or low-level attorneys handling simple cases. And then you move up to more complex things as you get experience. It's that way in almost every profession, right? The novice plumber doesn't start out doing the Empire State Building, right? I mean, so you all work up to things, and I think that's appropriate, and that's a good way to learn how to become a good lawyer.
Does it make you cringe a lot watching this show, period? Are you just like, oh no, Saul, you did that?
Well, it's all fun, you know. I mean, it's a TV show, but yeah,
It is?
most of it. Yes, it is. Shocking. but no, I don't cringe too much. I mean, obviously, sometimes he does some unethical things, you know. But I think everyone knows he's a character in a show, and it's not real life.
Would you say it's easy to break bad as an attorney?
I think there's often moments where greed can overwhelm people, or they can lose sight. Ego, I think, becomes lose sight of what's important, and ego becomes too much for them.
Man,
so
if you lied, because think about it, when you just tell a little white lie, how it snowballs.
Right.
I
So
can't
as a
imagine.
lawyer,
Yeah, you get caught in that, and before you know it, you're Jimmy McGill or you're Saul Goodman.
do you have any like history of that? You in the courtroom and the other guys just made a blatant lie and it's completely obvious. Does the judge take a step back and is like, okay, this is a bad lawyer? Or no, does it?
No, I
does it
think
all
I think everyone tries to be diplomatic about things, but I mean, if somebody's actually lying, I mean, that's offensive. It's happened to me where people have lied to the court or done dishonest things. It's a tough thing in New Mexico though, because it's a small community and word gets around if you do it on a regular basis, and people know who those lawyers are.
I have a couple names that I want to ask you about. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's always a pleasure. Thanks again
Thanks for having me.
being on the show again. Matt O'Neill, Whitener Law. If you guys need help, you need legal advice, you know, these are the guys to call. All right, make sure you get a hold of them. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
For our segment of Lawyered Up, and coming up, we're gonna wrap things up, Shannon.
Oh man, already?
Yeah, show's almost
Too
over.
much fun.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll be back.